Hello and welcome to Goonie's World. My name is Goonie, also known as Colin, and I'm joined as always by Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
And Meanie, also known as Ryan.
Hello.
So, on this episode we are playing a game called NUKED.
NUKED, which is an indie game by a couple of dudes who go by the names of Mac and Non-Dairy Giant. I ran across this on the RPG subreddit, and it was just like the timing was just fortuitous because the three of us had been talking and like, we haven't done a post-apocalyptic game, on the podcast, and like 2 days later, I just happened to be going through Reddit and saw this, and they had an itch.io for it, and so I shot them some money and downloaded the PDF and posted a comment in the thread, and said, "Hey man, I sent you some money and downloaded the PDF. I think it looks cool, and I got this podcast that I do, and if you are interested, whatever." And started a conversation with Mac, who seemed like a really nice dude, and so he gave me some suggestions. One of them being to go ahead and actually level up in between episodes, because then we can sort of kind of get into the weird stuff, the mutations, and the perks and stuff. And I thought that was a good suggestion, so we'll be doing that. And additionally, so like I said, they have that itch.io, so I highly recommend checking that out, and just sending them some money if you think it looks cool. And so it's kind of inspired, I think, pretty heavily by things like Mad Max, which I think can all agree is pretty cool, and the Fallout games, which are some of my favorite games, going all the way back to the 90s, with the Fallout 1 and 2, which are two of my favorite games of all time, and then, of course, Bethesda picked it up and all that. So anyway, so that is what we will be playing today. And we have two characters in Honcho and one Dennis Pickle, who live in a little town called Boomtown. Now, it's not really a town, and it's not really a boomtown, and it's not really named for, the whole phenomenon of a town exploding in population, because that is certainly not what it has done. It's more of like a village, really.
Maybe it's maybe it's just called Boomtown because it went boom.
Big boom.
Yeah,
because it was formed immediately following the big boom, the blast,
the pox-eclipse.
And it's a little village of about 20 people, and but about twice as many chickens. So you eat a lot of eggs, and occasionally old tough chickens. When they get too old to lay eggs. Because nobody's fucking chickens.
I don't know about that.
They might be. But you two, Honcho and Dennis, have decided that rather than just while away your years in Boomtown, the rather boring Boomtown, you've decided to venture out into the world and become scrappers, like picking over the old, relics from before the war and collecting them and bringing them back to earn your fortune. And you've made this announcement that you were going to be doing this, and of course, Cutter, who's kind of like the mayor of the town, he's an old dude. He doesn't even know how old he is. As far as you know, he might be the oldest person on Earth. He's probably somewhere in his 60s, which is pretty freaking old in this, environment. But he did not want you to go. but you tried to persuade you to stay, but he was not successful in that. And so the entire town, village for what it is, all 20-odd people have sort of gathered around this morning as you are about to venture off towards the ruined city off to the north. And who knows what weird and fantastic things you might find there. But everybody's sort of gathered around here, and a couple people, kind of holding back tears and sort of sniffling. And Cutter's kind of shaking his head. He's got kind of a long gray hair, and he looks up at you, Honcho, and he says, "Well, I knew this day was coming, but I'm not looking forward to it. I don't think you guys belong out there."
Well, a road walker I was in my background, and a road walker I shall be again. And I'll just tell you a little bit about Honcho real quick. He's a younger guy with a great big mop of sandy-colored hair and unshaven. He's a short guy with a broken nose, wears patched clothes. He's very tolerant, but he's also very reckless. And I have some leather armor and a rifle, and I'm lucky enough to have some rope and a working flashlight. I also have some cool junk, which I have a metal briefcase full of poker chips, and I have 3 copies of the same LP, which I have decided is Machine Head by Deep Purple. Those junk items were rolled randomly on a rather fun table that the designers have included in the game. So that's Honcho. And actually, I picture Honcho myself. I was actually found as a child by Goonies character, Mr. Pickle. I call him Mr. Pickle because he raised me, more or less raised me. So tell him. Why don't you tell him about yourself, Mr. Pickle?
Yeah, so I think most of the tears that are being shed from the other villagers are probably for Honcho, because I don't think too many people are going to miss Dennis Pickle, because he's kind of cranky and hard to get along with, because he's also quite old, but I think he just looks a lot older than he actually is.
It's the mileage.
Yeah, it's definitely the mileage. He has lived quite a while for, going through an apocalypse and all the hardship that comes with that. He's kind of got some greasy gray hair, kind of long, and his physique is wiry. He's greedy, but also curious. He's got busted teeth, and he's wearing clothes that are the wrong size, so they're definitely too big for him. It's, back, who knows where he found these clothes, but even if these were his own clothes, he's definitely lost weight as well. So they could have been his clothes, but he kind of looks like a scarecrow now. And I don't know if, Sean, did you have a perk or a mutation?
I do. I have a perk. I got a perk, a pretty good one, called Spray and Pray. So whenever I use my rifle, I get +1 because I'm a level 1 character. That'll go up as I level, and I roll an extra die of damage with guns.
All right. Well, that's nice, because I have a mutation, which I believe you also rolled, but we can choose, a pure perk or mutation, and so it was 100 on this table. Vestigial Wings. Vestigial Wings let you glide up to your level times 10, so 10 feet I can glide. And
interesting.
And then I just have some leather armor with a scrap shield, which I've decided is a old satellite dish that he's kind of modified a little bit. for some, add some grips, and then he's got a revolver handgun. And what is?
I forgot. I got a shield too. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I got a shield too. I forgot. Mine's a do not pass sign, like an old do not pass sign from the highway.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Shall not pass.
And then his background is lugger, which I'm not exactly sure what that is, but I guess he lugged things around. I don't know.
You found me and you lugged me back to Boomtown long ago, Mr. Pickle, and I'll always be mighty obliged.
Yeah, I raised you since you were a little baby. I don't know why somebody just tossed you out like garbage, and I raised you, but I just called you Honcho. You're not a pickle, not yet. Maybe someday I'll let you call yourself Honcho Pickle, but right now you're just Honcho.
Now I want to go with I rolled no last name on the table. I rolled my name randomly, and I got no last name. So maybe someday I will be so honored to be Honcho Pickle.
Yeah, you better watch yourself and do good, and someday maybe I might let you call yourself a pickle.
All right. But, Mr. Cutter, we know you don't want us to go, but, the horizon beckons. We just want to be scrappers. We got to get on the road. Maybe we can find something, useful to bring back to the people here at Boomtown. They'll help us out and improve our lives here in this world of the poxy clips.
Yeah, well, that's true, and you might get yourselves killed too. Now, wouldn't mind too much, Dennis over here bites it, but a young man like you, Honcho,
I wouldn't mind if I bit it as well. I'm tired of this godforsaken place. Lived long enough already.
Now, Dennis, I believe, has kind of a problem in that he is addicted to nicotine. Is that right?
Oh, yeah, I love me some tobacco. I wish I could find some.
Doesn't sound like he has any right now. Is that right? Okay.
No, I haven't seen any in a long time.
Kind of hard to come by. First thing that happened was all the cigarettes got rounded up by the survivors, Well, cigarettes and penicillin.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps if you were lucky, you might stumble across some. And of course, there are caravans that do come through every now and then, and trade and stuff. And sometimes we'll even bring water. Now, you guys, that there's a lake, actually just outside the ruined city, which is conveniently. And presumably because of this, you happen to know it's called Lake City, or it was at one time anyway. The caravans will bring and trade, and occasionally we'll have cigarettes, that they stumbled across or that they bartered for. So you see them occasionally, but it is pretty rare. And you guys, this lake adjacent to the city, on the other side of the highway from the city, is called Lake Volta, and this is where you guys, you have these sort of carts that you will wheel, and it's the better part of a day's journey up to the lake, but you have these carts with these tubs in them that you wheel. It's like almost a full day thing to wheel a cart up there and fill it full of water and wheel it back. And of course, you've been doing this occasionally. Everybody sort of takes turns doing it. So, at a minimum, there's kind of, a rutted trail up to the lake, so you don't have to worry about getting lost on your way to the city, the ruined city. And in addition to Cutter, who doesn't want you to go, there is a fairly attractive young lady named Jackie, who I don't think Honcho necessarily noticed that she was kind of interested in him. I think he was maybe kind of oblivious to that, but she does seem to be particularly sad at the moment.
Now, Jackie. Don't cry, Jackie.
Well, I try not to, but I never got to tell you how I felt, Honcho.
Oh, I'm not as oblivious as you might think I am, Jackie. I could tell when our eyes would meet, but
I can tell you've been looking at me all day long. I can see it in your eyes. Don't you worry now. I'll be back.
What?
Well, I see the way you look at me. I know you're going to be pining after me something fierce when I leave here. Yeah, we never shared our feelings together, but, if I bet the feeling's mutual, and you're kind of a babe, and I like babes, and I hope I'm going to find some more babes out there, and, it's just, don't hate the player, hate the game, they say.
Well, maybe I am oblivious, because I didn't know anything about that, Jackie. I'm sorry for my presumption. To think I was going to bring you back a piece of pretty scrap, too. Bring back some real nice trash.
I didn't know anything about that either. I think Mr. Pickle is delusional. But anyway, you be safe out there, okay? Honcho, not Dennis.
Don't you worry, I'll be safe. Mr. Pickle will look out for me. He ain't going to let nothing happen.
Take good care. You always have.
Yeah, it's all right. But don't worry, Jackie. And I'll give Jackie a kiss on her cheek.
Oh, she accepts and kind of begins to blush a little bit and steps back. And then a guy you don't really talk to, and in fact who doesn't really talk very often, approaches you. His name is Lefty Shitrip, and he is one of... So basically, and I guess I probably should have given you a little bit of background, but I will give it to you now. Basically, whenever people decide they want to be scrappers and go out, into the wasteland, they basically don't ever come back. Presumably they're killed. I mean, there's, stories of them being torn apart by razor fiends or killed by raiders or mutants or whatever. So it's pretty rare that scrappers ever actually do come back. But Lefty Shitrip, he did come back, and he's now he's never been the same since he got back. He was out there in the wastes for years, finally came back, and has basically been a hermit in Boomtown ever since he returned. But and he's got kind of crazy eyes and long hair and a long untrimmed beard, and the same sort of filthy rags that everybody else is wearing, ill-fitting filthy rags. But he walks up to you and he's just kind of looking around with his shifty eyes, and you probably haven't said two words to him or exchanged two words with him since he got back. But it looks like he wants to tell you something, but it looks like he's kind of having a hard time getting it out.
What's on your mind, Lefty?
I just wanted to tell you something, boys. Now, if you see anybody, they look like robots.
I'm sorry, did you say robots?
Robots.
Oh.
They look like robots, but they're not robots.
Now you're talking about mechanical contraptions, robots?
No, I'm saying they look like robots, but they ain't robots. There's men.
Oh.
There's men inside a robot. And if you see them, you run away now. You hear me?
Well,
Yeah, okay.
I'll take your advice, Lefty.
They slaughtered everybody.
he says.
All right, so the men inside the Robut outfit slaughtered everybody. I remember that.
There's many of them. I don't know how many, but they're out there.
All right.
Well, are these things new, or are they left over from before?
I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you. I just know they're bloodthirsty as all hell.
Yeah, and they can't be robots then, because robots, they just want bits and bytes and whatever. They don't want, like, blood or bites of people. They want bites of, like, information, I think.
One time when I ran into them robot men, one of them didn't have his helmet on. That's how I know there was men inside.
Okay. I'll keep an eye out for him. Don't you worry, Mr. Shit Rip. I ain't gonna let myself get messed up. I know robot men. Don't you worry. I'll keep a good eye out. Mr. Pickle, he'll keep a good eye out too, won't you, Mr. Pickle?
Well, I always got an eye out. Yeah, I ain't gonna let these robot men mess our whole plan up, Yeah, Lefty, we're out there, we're gonna find a bunch of scraps. If there's anything you want, we could maybe look out for that as well.
Well, there's scraps. Oh, that's been a long time since I've been to the city. That's where you're going, isn't it?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, well, you watch out for the arena now. Well, at least they used to now. I don't know how it is these days, but they had well, you just don't want to get involved. Let me put it that way.
Did you say an arena?
That's right.
Well, you mean like they got themselves some gladiatorial combats or whatnot? These city folk?
Yeah, that's right. It ain't man on man, though. That would be too easy.
Is it robot on robot?
No, it's beasts against men typically, but...
Oh, no.
I thought you were going to say girl on girl. Dang it, but I don't like the sound of what you said.
And some of the best scrap can be
Good.
found. Well, I can't remember the name of the place, but it was guarded very heavily. Okay.
So you're saying we see a bunch of guards, a bunch of human activity, then this is some sign that they got the good stuff, the good scrap.
Well, now the best scrap in that town now. Okay. It's not guarded by men. It's guarded by robots. But these aren't robots that are men inside the robots. They're actual robots.
The actual robots. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So if
I'm
we
sorry
see
that-
we see a robot, we need to make sure it's an actual, legitimate robot and not a man robot, not a man in a robot facade. Is what
That's
you
right.
said.
Yeah. But the actual robots, is bad too. They're just as bad as, because they're the guards for the scrap.
It sounds like everything's pretty bad out there, the way you tell it, Mr.
I wish I
Shit
never
Rip.
went.
Well, you don't paint a rosy picture, but we got to go, because we're going to look like damn fools if we get all these people out to say goodbye to us, and then we don't go. And in a life where nothing's ventured, nothing's gained. Ain't that right, Mr. Pickle?
That's absolutely right. I'm so damn tired of this village and looking at the same ugly people. I need to get the hell out of here, and it's about time. And I'm taking Honcho with me, and we're not coming back unless we find some good scrap. But we are coming back.
Well, Cutter takes that opportunity to walk up and shake both of your hands and say, well, if you're gone, I guess you better get gone.
That's right.
It's about that
Hope
time.
Hope I see you boys soon now. Be safe.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be safe. Mr. Pickle ain't going to let nothing happen to me. You remember that, Jackie? Your Honcho be coming home soon.
I hope so, she says, and touches her cheek where you placed your kiss.
I had no idea all this time. I had no idea. Well, we better get out of here before I start crying.
All right. Well, with that, you guys leave Boomtown for perhaps the last time. For it is truly a dangerous place out there in the wastes. But you're going anyway. So you have all your shit together, and you begin following the rutted cart trail up to the north that kind of runs parallel to what they call the Devil's Highway. Kind of a crumbling, old north-south interstate. And, there's occasionally, an abandoned, rusted-out car here and there, but, anything that was going to be of value in those, you know damn good and well is, long gone.
Long gone, long picked through.
Yeah.
By the scrappers, what came before us.
Indeed. And so there, of course, are all sorts of different people out in the wastes. So we're going to see. I must find my table here.
Cue the table finding music.
Indeed. I should have been on this page already, but I had to change to look up rules a minute ago.
Table, table, table. Table,
Table.
table.
Table, table, table.
Looking for a table.
Nice big table where I can put my dinner.
All right. Let's roll.
We're going to meet some random folk. Is that right? All right.
Well, that's a thing that is going to happen. So it's it's a long day's hike to get all the way to the lake, and by the time you get there and you have filled up the tub with water, and and then it's fucking obviously heavy, and you got to push that shit all the way back. That's like maybe a 14 to 16 hour day, because it takes 6-7 hours to get there, and you've been on the road for only about an hour. I say the road, the trail, for only about an hour, when you see in the distance the telltale silhouette of a wagon being pulled by a large bovine creature. These are typically the trading caravans that come through. And as you guys approach each other, you recognize the guy leading the wagon as being this guy he comes through occasionally. His name's Herm, and when he gets into shouting distance, he kind of squints in your direction and waves and says, "Is that you, Mr. Pickle? Honcho?"
Yeah, that's us.
You got it. You recognize. What's up, Herm?
Well, I was just heading into Boomtown. Looks like you're heading to the lake, but
yeah, we're heading out of there. We're going out venturing, and we're going to find some scrap in the old broken down city, whatever it's called.
Old Lake City. We're gonna go be scrappers.
oh, I reckon that's why you ain't got a water cart with you. Oh, okay.
Well, now he's getting about close enough that he doesn't have to yell anymore.
So, well, that's very mighty adventurous of you. Going all the way to Lake City now. It's dangerous out in the city, I understand. I've never bothered to venture in there myself. It's plenty dangerous enough out here, just doing the trading moves.
Yeah, we heard about that. We heard about the robot men who looks like robots, but they's men. And we heard about the actual robots. And we heard about an arena where there's some beast-on-man action. And there ain't no girl-on-girl action. We already determined ain't no tickle fighting or nothing. It's some bad stuff.
Now, did you say robots that was men?
Yeah, that's what Mr. Shitrip told us. He said they's robot. They looks like they's robots, but inside he saw one with his helmet off, and he's a man inside the robot.
Oh, yes. Those are going to be soldiers of the Bastion, and you probably want to avoid them if you can. Don't get too close. They like to shoot first and ask questions later, if you know what I mean.
Soldiers of the Bastion.
That's right.
Well, who's the Bastion? Sebastian? Is that what you said?
No, not Sebastian. The Bastion.
The Bastion, yeah.
That's their base. I think it's down in the mountains somewhere. I believe.
Yeah, Bastion's like a clubhouse, Mr. Pickle, where they get together and sharpen their knives and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So I imagine that's what Mr. Shitrip was talking about. But he's definitely right in that you do not want to mess with them if you run across them.
Okay, good advice.
That Shitrip's got a screw loose. But I imagine he's probably accurate about that.
It sounds to me like it was. Well, anyway, I'm gonna get on down to Boomtown now. Don't reckon you boys got anything you want to trade?
Yeah, have you found any tobacco?
I figured you was gonna ask that. Well, as a matter of fact, I've got four pre-war cigarettes right here. Now, they're gonna be stale as all hell.
Oh, I don't give one shit. I'll smoke anything that's got nicotine in it. Well, I don't have much to trade yet. But, I mean, you can take this. I got a sewing needle. That's pretty handy for sewing clothes up, patching holes and all that. You know, it's not much, but... And I got a milk crate. Everyone's got it, have to have a milk crate. You can sit on it, and you can stack stuff on it or in it. I mean, it's real handy to have. How much... I'll give you both of them for all the cigarettes you got.
Oh, I was thinking I'd give you one cigarette for the sewing needle and one cigarette for the milk crate.
There's 2 cigarettes is going to make me want more. How many did you say you had?
Just 4.
Well, I got, I can't give away my crowbar, my flashlight, my rations, and water just yet.
Hey, I tell you what, I got 3 copies of this seminal hard rock recording, Machine Head by Deep Purple. I can't play it, but since I got 3 of the same one, Mr. Pickle, you've been so good to me. How's about I trade you this copy of Machine Head by Deep Purple? Look, it's got all these great songs on it I ain't never heard, but you know they're good. Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, all the good stuff. I bet you it's just rocks if you could ever figure out how to play it. I'd give you one of these. And you know, you can use like a frisbee to decapitate zombies or whatever, too. That's what I hear.
So, okay, well, how many cigarettes do you want for that?
2, 1 for each side of the record.
Oh, you're a shrewd negotiator, Mr. Honcho.
Thank you.
All right, I'll take that deal.
All right.
Hopefully I'll find one of them spinny things I can play this on.
Yeah, I'm hoping to find a spinny thing, too, because I want to hear it.
Give me them cigarettes already.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Oh, Oh, I needed something to light it with, but I'm just gonna put some of this up between my gum, my lip.
So you're gonna chew cigarette tobacco, essentially?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a little chew. I don't have nothing to get no matches or light or anything. Do you happen to have one for sale? I think they're pretty hard to come by as well.
He turns around and reaches and like rummages around in the wagon behind him, and he pulls out a weathered-looking matchbook that says like has like a spade. It's like a black or a white matchbook with like a black spade on it, and it says Ace of Spades Club. And he opens it up, and it's it's all tattered and weathered and stuff. But he opens it up, and it's got like a couple matches in it, and he pulls one off and sparks it and holds it out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh,
I'm not sure that's what smoking sounds like, but okay.
Yeah, but he's just puffing on it like it's like a nipple, It's like so comforting to him. And
that's a nipple.
Nickel.
Nickel. You suck that nickel, Mr. Pickle.
Well,
someone had a nickel for every time.
Someone needs to write that song. You suck that nickel, Mr. Pickle.
Suck that nickel, Mr. Pickle. Oh my God, that's like a show tune. Oh well.
I was thinking like that for some reason, like the the Grinch song like came to my mind.
Suck the nickel, Dr. Pickle.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fun little diversion.
Digression.
But anyway, if you guys don't have any further trading you would like to do, Herm is going to proceed on his way, and I suppose you are as well.
Yeah.
And so you continue along the trail. And a couple more hours pass. Let's see what...
Well, I could just walk for hours. This reminds me back when I used to be a road walker. Hey, don't smoke all them those cigarettes at one time. Now.
I have to smoke them because if I let this one go out, I can't light the next one. So I got to smoke them one after the other. But I'm just going slow so they last as long as they can. Oh, life is grand when you have cigarettes. Wonderful day to walk. Just enjoying life. And you doing good trading that LP. Yeah, you're on your way to become a pickle. I'd say you earn a letter each time you do a good thing. So you got your P today.
All right, I'm the Honcho P. Oh, Honcho P. That's great. That's great. Yeah, he got a good deal on that Deep Purple record. That's still in the shrink wrap with the Sam Goody sticker on it. So that one's a good one. I don't know who Sam Goody is, but he had a lot of good records.
So after a couple hours, you encounter this man who's just like sitting in the sand. I mean, it's deserty, but not like, I mean, there's like scrub plants and stuff, and occasionally maybe a tree, but you there's this guy, and you can see him from a distance. He's just kind of sitting next to the trail. It looks like he's kind of picking at the dirt, or like got a little stick, and he's just like, scratching stuff into the dirt or the sand. And as you approach, he kind of looks up and gives you, a nod, and then just looks back down at his nonsense scrawlings.
Hey, Mister, what you writing in there? What you drawing on? You got some kind of plans, or you writing a poem, or you doing plans for world domination, or what you doing there, partner?
I don't know.
He doesn't know what he's doing. He's missing his brain.
Do you, by the way, do you still have any cigarettes at this point, or have you smoked them all?
No, I mean, I'm assuming. Well, I don't know how long it's been.
It's been a couple hours.
I mean, sure, he probably. Maybe he's smoking on the very last one.
And knowing you probably keep the butts around so you can put the butts in between your cheek and gum.
Oh yeah,
residual nicotine. Yeah.
He knows he's gonna, once this wears off, he's gonna have a nick fit again, and he's gonna, even like the smallest little flake of nicotine or tobacco, he's gonna want to save.
Well, if he is puffing on the very final one, this man, and by the way, he's basically nude, other than he's got sort of like a loincloth, like a, stained and soiled loincloth on. And he's, hey, is that a cigarette you got there?
Yep, it's all mine, though. I paid, and my boy, here, Honcho P, we traded for it, and I can't, even spare a puff.
Oh, just a puff, mister, just a puff. Just one puff.
What you got? You got something to trade for a puff?
I got my underpants.
Are they soiled?
Well, I mean, everything is soiled these around here.
Well, but I mean, did you actually take a poop in your underpants?
Well, no, I didn't poop in my underpants. No.
He says.
How many skid marks you got in there?
I don't know. I don't.
Jesus Christ. You don't be counting his skid marks, Mr. Pickle. It's just not something that's done by a gentleman.
I'm just saying, it's got to be fresh linen if I'm going to trade for a precious puff of smoke.
Well, I don't know.
Well, you don't get nothing. I'm going to take my last couple of puffs of this thing before it's out, and I'm going to stamp it out and save it in case I come across some fire in the future. Well, that's just too bad for you, then. I don't even know what you're doing out here, half nude, drawing in the dirt.
I don't know.
Well, you seem to lost your way. I guess you could go head back at where we come from, Boomtown. I don't know if, I hear there's a lady there named Jackie. Seems to be quite fond of men. She certainly give me the eye, and she's looking. She has intent towards Honcho, probably towards all the men. So you might want to head there.
She's certainly friendly enough to give them skid-marked underwears a laundry for you.
Well, and at the mention of Boomtown and women in particular, he seems to cheer up a little bit. And
where's this at?
You just follow that rutted path back that away, and you're eventually going to reach it.
Oh, well, thank you, he says, and he gets up and actually starts walking off towards Boomtown.
And the thing he was drawing in the dirt that just looks like incomprehensible.
Yeah, you think he's just
Okay.
probably
Doodling.
not even doodling so much as just incoherently. This dude is just not with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what the ramifications of sending him to Boomtown, because I did not expect that outcome. So I'm not really sure what the ramifications of sending him to Boomtown will be, but there will probably be ramifications.
Yeah, well, something to look forward to when we come back. If we come
Well,
back.
I'm reckless. I don't think ahead.
Well, maybe there won't be a Boomtown to come back to. We'll see.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Well, anyway, with the crazed hermit heading off towards Boomtown, you resume your journey towards Lake Volta and eventually Lake City. And let's roll some dice real quick.
Rolling dice on the table. Table.
So, the next few hours pass with no crazy people and or caravanners, passing you by or you passing them by, and you're actually starting to get, fairly close to the lake. Of course, you know this. You've made this journey sometimes. And of course, as you get closer and closer, the tall towers of the ruined city begin, growing in size as you get closer and closer. And of course, a lot of the windows are broken, and the frequency of old, burned out, rusted out cars on the highway has been steadily increasing, as you knew it would. But you're, once you get to the point where you're like, you're getting, and you obviously could see the lake from quite a distance. It's a pretty good size. And you are coming up a hill that, once you crest it, will then lead down to the lake. It's still a ways off, but that once you crest this, that it's kind of the final stretch to go back downhill and then to the lake itself. And as you crest that hill, you see a sight that you have not seen before. And there are 4 probably 7-foot tall mechanical creatures.
Oh, that's them.
Get down.
And I was just about to say, they're standing kind of in a small cluster next to the lake, for one thing, and also some weird looking object that you've seen nothing like it before. It looks almost like a large container of some kind sitting on the ground next to them. And I was going to say, they don't seem to have noticed you as you just poke your heads up. And it sounds like you're going to attempt to evade detection.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
All right.
Oh, well, those must be the robots, because they're so tall they can't be soldiers.
Well,
Can't
what if
be
they's wearing stilts inside there? Like they put their feet on like where the kneecaps is.
No, they ain't gonna be doing that now. Don't make me take that P away from you.
No, I need the next letter too. I need an I so I could be Honcho Pie.
Yeah, well, you just don't say stupid things then. Ain't
I don't
no.
think it's-
They're not on stilts.
You don't know. We don't know nothing about the culture of robot men. That's all I'm saying. This is a wide world out there full of strange and unusual things.
Well, assuming you are attempting to quickly duck back behind the hill so as not to be seen, why don't you guys make some agility tests? And remember, in this system, we roll low.
We roll low. I got a 10 or less, but I got 17.
And I needed to get under 11, and I rolled a 14.
You had to get under an 11 too.
Well, unfortunately, you are not fast enough. And one of these 4 robots and or men happens to, before you get down, happens to turn their head in your direction and clearly spots you as you attempt to duck behind the hill, because you see a hand point in your direction and the head turns back around, maybe having some kind of conversation.
Dang it, you made us. You too slow.
Yeah, I guess I was too slow. Well, man, I think them robot men have done seen us.
We're doomed. They're coming after us now.
Well, maybe we just skirt off to the left or skirt off to the right while we still... Because they ain't got a line of sight on us now.
They're gonna hunt us down like dogs and vaporize us.
I am actually going to make a really quick roll here to determine exactly what they are going to do. And so you have ducked behind the hill by this point and cannot, I assume, see them. But you hear kind of a faint whirring noise begin to come from the direction of the lake.
Here they
Would you like to
come.
pop your head up and see what's going on?
Yeah, we guess we kind of have to see, at least.
Just get a quick look. You look, Mr. Pickle. I'm too frightened.
Yeah, I'm frightened, but I'll look.
So you look up, and you see that the 4 robot men have gotten inside the container that had been sitting on the ground, and that is clearly the source of the whirring noise, as it is now hovering about a foot off the ground, and you can see, it's kicking up all kinds of dust and dirt and stuff. And you watch as it whirs off, hovering off to the east.
Oh,
so
they're going to the east.
They ain't coming after us.
Doesn't look like it.
Is east the direction? You might have said this already, but is east the direction of Lake City?
No, that is west.
Okay, good. Well, I wonder what it is that they's up to. I think I would love to have a contraption like what they got. That kind of little hover carriage thing. That'd be great.
Well, I don't know how lucky we are going to find something like that, but we'll be lucky just to find some old scrap material or something.
What was lucky is them robot men didn't come up here and chop us into tiny little pieces.
Yeah, we're lucky, no thanks to you.
Well, why do you think
You're always messing up.
Wow, sorry, Mr. Pickle. But why do you think they's going off in such a hurry? What do you think they's doing down there? Maybe we should go down there and see what they was... Let's go down there to that spot they was at and see. Why do they care about 2 scrappers out on the hilltop above them? Why are they going away so fast?
Well, they got some kind of robot agenda, I'm sure.
Yeah, them robots. You want to go down there and see what they was doing?
Yeah, I'll see if the coast is clear and then we can go.
Yeah, there may be nothing to see, but they're certainly mysterious. But like you said, you never know with robots what their strange agenda might be.
Well, Dennis, you check to see if the coast is clear, and indeed it is. You can see far off to the east, the sort of dust cloud as this hover vehicle proceeds in that direction. But it's pretty far off by this point. And there doesn't appear, from this distance anyway, to be... doesn't look like they left anything behind or anything.
Is there
Looks like it's
anywhere...
safe to proceed.
Okay. Well, I think we should walk over to where they were standing and just see, maybe look around to see if maybe we can see something that they were looking at or anything of interest.
So you head down there and kind of have a look around at the the lake shore, and so of course the dirt and dust and sand have all been blown around by these hover fans, but even in spite of that, you find several sets of fairly deep. Now the soil is pretty dry, but several sets of fairly deep footprints. Whatever these robot men are, they're clearly pretty heavy to make these kind of indentations in the soil. It doesn't look like they have left any equipment behind or anything, and you didn't see anything. I mean, you were kind of too far away to see anything besides the four creatures and the vehicle from the distance at the top of the hill. But clearly they were doing something at the lake, on the lake shore, and either they were done coincidentally and just left, or who knows.
Well, how would you feel about me trying to use my brains to figure it out, or my sense? I got more sense than brains. Or maybe there's not much that I could figure out.
Yeah, make a sense roll. Well, what is your brain score?
I got an 11 brains and I got 14 sense.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and make a sense roll.
Okay. I got a 3. That ain't too bad.
Oh, that is really good, as a matter of fact. Okay. You actually find, in that case, a small strip of paper on the ground next to the on the the lake shore, next to the surface of the water.
Hey, there's paper down here. I'm gonna pick it up.
Well, I didn't see that. You got some good eyes, I guess.
Yeah, it ain't a cigarette though. I already checked. I pick up the paper and examine it.
You pick it up, and it's yay long. I know the people listening can't see this, but you can see my fingers.
It's yay long, everyone.
Yeah, and when you reach down to pick it up, it looks like it's just a white strip of paper. But when you pick it up and turn it over, on the other side, it's mostly white, and then there's a small blue circle with faded edges.
See, this is circle paper, a little blue circle on it. I wonder what the significance of this circle is.
It don't mean nothing to me.
No, it don't mean nothing to me. Or maybe it's like an insignia or some such thing.
Maybe hold on to it in case we come across that somewhere else.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll put it right here in my pocket.
Well, you pocket the mysterious strip of paper. You can write that down on your character sheet if you would like.
I did. I found a strip of paper, a white strip on one side, small blue circle.
All right. Well, it seems to me as though there is nothing to do now except head towards the city. Lake city. Now, of course, there are, it's a fairly, or was, I should say, a fairly large city, and it's got, its share of tall buildings and such that you can see from here. And of course, from here, the tall buildings, you're like, well, what the heck are those? I mean, probably offices and stuff, or apartments at one point, or a hotel. Like, who knows? But basically, there are a number of different ways you could approach it, and I'm kind of curious how you would like to approach. You can kind of go straight for the middle, or interestingly, there is one particularly interesting looking building. I mean, there's several tall buildings and mid-rise towers and stuff in various states of disrepair, but sort of at the southernmost edge of the downtown area, you might call, there's one particularly interesting looking building that basically, from here you can't really tell what it is, and you've probably seen it before, but with no intention of going to the city, it may not have looked as interesting at the time. But it basically kind of looks like a spaceship, like a big, almost like a flying saucer.
Is it? It's not blue, is it?
It is not blue.
Okay. Good question, though.
It is sort of shiny, reflective glass. And of course, some of the panels are broken and stuff. But it's almost like it's really hard to describe, but it kind of looks like a spaceship planted into the ground.
I wonder what in the hell could that be?
No, that's a flying saucer, because I saw an ancient artifact once called a comic book called Aliens Among Us, and I seen a picture and it looked just like it.
I've heard of flying saucers that, those don't exist. I'm not saying
it's aliens, right? But it might be aliens.
I don't believe it. But
Use a skeptic.
Yeah, I've got a skeptical mind.
Well, it's certainly the most interesting looking building out there. I'm curious, and I know you're eating up with curiosity.
I was just gonna say that. I just can't help myself. I do wonder what the hell this could be. Gotta go. I mean, if nothing else, we might take some of that, whatever inside of it. I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, if a building looks so interesting on the outside, just think how interesting it must be on the inside. And you's curious, and I'm reckless. I say we go for it.
Okay, I think we have a plan.
All right. So I'm not even going to mention the alternatives, because it sounds like you've made up your mind, which is, I kind of nudged you in that direction a little bit anyway. So you head off towards the southernmost edge of kind of the downtown area. And, it's kind of interesting as you approach to see kind of the... of course, it's afternoon by this point. And it's kind of interesting as you approach to see down, the vista of this sort of like almost canyon-like view with all these, buildings up to the street, and some of them are pretty tall and everything. And so you approach this weird-looking sort of spaceship-like building, and probably the first thing you would notice as you begin getting closer, now of course it's still light out, so it wouldn't have been as obvious from a distance, but as you get closer, you can see that it has lights on inside, which is kind of weird. I mean, you don't really have, much in the way of power in Boomtown. I mean, you have there's a generator for some stuff, and you occasionally have batteries and stuff, and for like your flashlights and stuff like that. But as far as having lights on in a building that isn't a candle or something, that's just kind of weird. And as you get even closer, you see a sign near what must be the entrance to this spaceship building. And it says Bane Center.
Bane Center.
Bane Center. Now that I don't like the sound of that at all. But think of them bright lights they got in there. They got all kinds of good scrap in there. You just know it.
Yeah, there must be a reason they're using up electricity to keep the lights on in this place. I could say we go in there, have a look around.
Yeah, it don't hurt to have a little look-see.
All right. Well, gentlemen, you begin walking towards the Bane Center with the intention of going inside. And I think I'll leave y'all and the listeners in a little bit of suspense, and we'll pick up next time with you heading into the Bane Center, which I suspect the two of you have some inkling what that might imply, even if your characters do not.
Yes.
I have, gamey idea of what that could mean.
And if you're a regular listener, you might as well. But that doesn't mean that any Cape City related episodes are required listening for this, because not the case.
No, but we just realized we are in our very own Cape City universe in the post-apocalypse, so that's fun.
Or some alternate version of it or something.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Well, I guess then we'll come back next week and find out more.
We will come back next week at level 2, remember.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to level up.
So,
we're going to level up in the interim.
In the interim, all right. Well, I will see everybody next week.
All right, bye.
Goodbye.
Hey everybody, if you like our podcast, don't forget to leave us a good rating and or review on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or wherever you're able. Subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter at Goonies_world, and check out our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.